Gamers, welcome in. How you doing today? Update 40 for ESO is finally here, and that means we have the Endless Archive. So today I'm bringing you an Arcanist build specifically for the Endless Archive to get you as far as possible. This build has it all: huge damage, crazy crits, and some survivability just in case the Marauder shows up. This build works great if you have a companion or a friend to run the archive with, or if you have no friends, this build works great solo too. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we are. We have an Endless Archive build, and we've gone with an Arcanist for this one. So quick look at the stats and stuff. We are a Khajiit, that gives us some really nice crit. We have 44 into stamina, 20 into magicka. That gives us a nice 26k health pool, 23k stam, and 15.5k magicka. Nice recoveries on 1.2 and 1.5. Weapon damage at 5,200, 38% crit, and some nice penetration at 8k. And then our resistances are around 15k unbuffed. Of course, crit resist doesn't matter in PvE. So we are using the Thief Munderstone. This is going to give us extra crit percent chance. This is really nice in PvE. We want to do crits all the time. And we're using the Jewel of Mithril Food. That increases our stamina and magicka recovery and our max health. And then for potions, we have gone just with the tripods. Really good just to keep our sustain up in case we need it. Okay, so let's get into the gear. First off, we have Deadly Strike. This gives us weapon and spell damage, crit chance, weapon and spell damage, and increase the damage of your damage over time and channel attacks by 15%. This is so good on an Arcanist because we've got a lot of damage over time and channeled attacks, including our big green beam. So yeah, we're going to be hitting very hard. So we have that on a sword and a mace. For dual wield, we have it on 2 jewelry pieces, the necklace and the ring, and then we have it on a shoulder piece. So we have that on the front bar at all times. So this is really nice. It's just going to boost our damage by a huge amount, absolutely melt enemies. And then paired with that, I've gone for a bit of a different one. I've gone for Ancient Dragon Guard. What this does is it gives you max health, damage, crit chance, and then adds 300 weapon and spell damage while your health is above 50%, and adds 3000 physical and spell resistance when your health is below 50%. So I really like this set. I did originally go for Pillar of Nirn just for the huge extra damage, but first of all this got nerfed in update 40, and with Endless Archive I like having a bit of survivability as well, because you know, the further you get along, the harder it gets, and staying alive is really important because you only have a limited amount of lives. So I went for this instead, just to make us a bit more tankier when we're close to death, which, you know, keeps us a bit safer so we can heal up and then get back to some damage. So we have this on the chest, the belt, the feet, the legs, and the hands. So 5 body pieces, so it's on at all times. Then that leaves us with a slot for a mythic, so I've gone with Pale Order. This restores 20% of the damage you deal as health, but the value is decreased by 4% per ally you're grouped with, and you cannot be healed by anyone but yourself, your pets, or your companions. So this is fantastic solo, and it's still really good duo, or if you have a companion. So I still recommend this whether you're doing the Endless Archive solo or with a friend. And it just, you know, it just restores your health as you're doing damage, so you could just focus on absolutely melting everyone. So yeah, I think this is really good. And then that leaves one slot. So we've just got the one-piece Slime Claw for the extra crit chance on the helm. And then for our back bar, we have a Frost Staff. We have the Maelstrom Perfected Frost Staff. This is helping us dish out a huge amount of damage as well. You don't need the perfected version, but if you do, it just adds some penetration, and this increases the damage Wall of Elements deals by 1,206. So of course we're running Wall of Elements, and again it just, you know, sends our damage through the roof. So to sum up, we have Deadly on the front bar, the 2 weapons, 2 jewelry and the shoulder, 5-piece Ancient Dragon Guard, You could swap it out for Pillar of None if you wanted to, but I found more success with this. One piece Slime Coral for the crit chance, Pale Order, and the Buck Bar Maelstrom Ice Staff. One thing I forgot to mention is Ancient Dragon Guard is a crafted set, so it's really easy to get as well. And Deadly used to be a bit expensive, but now it's everywhere, so you can get it kind of easy as well. You probably already have a set, if I'm guessing. So in terms of weights, traits, and everything, we have Sharpened on the front bar for the extra penetration, and then we have a Nirnhoned back bar with the weapon damage and spell damage enchant, just to boost our damage a little bit more. For jewelry, we have a robust stamina recovery, one robust weapon and spell damage, and an infused weapon and spell damage as well. To be honest, I would change probably this one to another stamina recovery, just to be on the safe side. It can get a bit hairy sometimes, just with the stamina recovery, but for the most part it's okay. And then on the body, we've gone for 3 reinforced on the big pieces. I do have 2 impen, but that should definitely be well fitted. I would get rid of those. You definitely don't need crit resistance in PvE because nothing crits you. And then another well fitted and divines. And then that means we have 3 heavy on the big pieces. They're all heavy reinforced. We have the 1 light on the belt, and then 3 medium on the shoulders, gloves, and feet. So moving on to skills. Obviously we've got a lot of AoE and stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of damage, a lot of crits, gathering groups up, and just absolutely burning them down. So first of all, we have Cephaliarch's Flail. This deals damage to an area in front of you, does physical damage, and it heals you, which is really nice. So you get the heal from this and from the Pale Order as you do damage. It generates a Crux, which helps us with our other skills, I'll show you in a moment, and it immobilizes enemies. So you can put down your AoE, hit them with this, and then they get stuck in the AoE. It deals 100% more damage to enemies with less than 50% health, so it can work as an execute. And you deal 5% increased damage to enemies drenched in Abyssal Ink. So they get Abyssal Ink for 20 seconds, and then of course the rest of your damage does 5% more. Then I've gone for Escalating Rune Blades. I like this just for the range, and it does 3 lots of damage and generates a Crux as well. And the last rune explodes, dealing damage to all enemies within 8 meters, and it deals 3% increased damage for each active Crux when cast. So you could just sit at 3 Crux and then just keep spamming this and it does more damage. It's really nice. We have gone for Barb Trap. This sets a trap on the floor, and when it's triggered it does bleed damage and additional bleed damage over time, but we like this for the Minor Force, which increases our crit damage by 10%. The damage has a higher chance to apply the hemorrhaging status effect, which is really nice, and then they are immobilized as well. So once again we can keep them still so they can get hit by all of our AoE. Having this on the bar as well also gives us the passive from the Fighters Guild for extra damage. So yeah, really nice to have the front bar. Then we're going for the OP Pragmatic Fate Carver. This is our main damage. Harness pure knowledge into a beam of energy. It does huge amount of damage every 0.3 seconds for 4 seconds. And while channeling, you also gain a damage shield that absorbs up to 13,000 damage and grants interrupt immunity. Casting Pragmatic Fate Carver consumes all Crux, increasing your damage done by 33% and decrease the cost by 16% per Crux. So we spam these, get our Crux up. Once we have 3, we hit them with this. Absolutely shreds any target, does a huge amount of damage, and you're safe as well because you also get the damage shield from it. So yeah, this is a go-to. It does a huge beam in an area in front of you, so you can just, absolutely shred everyone who you've immobilized with your flail, and yeah, it's really nice. Then of course we've got Camo Hunter. We have this on for the Major Savagery and Prophecy. That gives us extra crit chance, and we get Minor Berserk for 5 seconds after dealing critical damage from an enemy's flank, so that's an extra 5% damage, and we get damage because it's a Fighters Guild skill from the passive as well. So yeah, extra damage, we really like it. So we don't actually ever use this, we just have it on the bar and just so the passives work in the background. And then Dawnbreaker, we have this that does a huge amount of damage and damage over time. I don't use this very often. I usually use my back bar ultimate. But again, this is good to just clear out a few ads if they're in the way, or you know, if you just need a quick bit of damage. And again, we get extra damage from the Fighters Guild passive as well. So we've got 3 Fighters Guild skills on. So yeah, huge amount of damage. Then on the back bar, we've gone for Recuperative Treatise. This is your major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20%. You get that just for having it slotted on either bar. So you don't even need to use this, and you get 20% extra damage on the front bar as well, which is really nice. And then it also makes your weapon pulse with power. So each pulse enhances your class abilities, and striking an enemy with one deals an additional 3,700 magic damage and restores magicka and stamina, and generates a crux if you have none. So extra crux, always good. So it means we can get up to 3 crux super easy and then hit people with the beam. But yeah, just extra damage and major brutality. Then we've gone for Unstable Wall of Frost. So because we got the Ice Staff, we got the Frost. This is buffed by our Maelstrom, so this does frost damage to enemies in the area every 1 second and applies Unstable Frost Shield for 6 seconds on you and nearby allies that absorbs up to 7,000 damage from projectiles. And chilled enemies are afflicted with Minor Breach, and their movement speed is reduced by 40%. And then when the effect ends, the barrier explodes, dealing frost damage and shielding you and nearby allies as well. So you can actually spam this, and every time you do hit it, it will do damage as well. So if you find yourself where you've run out of stamina and you need some extra damage, and you've got magicka available, you can spam this a little bit if you wanted to. But yeah, super nice skill to have. Then we've gone for Caltrops. This, another AoE, reduces movement speed again, and we have this for the Major Breach as well, so it reduces their physical and spell resistance by 6,000. Yeah, extra damage. Then we're going for Impervious Rune Ward. This summons a shield, a huge shield for 1 second, and then a smaller shield for 5 seconds if the first shield persists. Both shields scale off your max health, and then the first time you take direct damage, the shield retaliates and deals damage to the attacker, scaling off your armor. And then this also consumes crux to heal you for 2,691 per crux spent. So if you have 3 crux and use this, usually I don't use this unless I have 3 crux, and then you get a shield and all of your health flies up as well. So it's a great survivability skill. I use it all the time in PvP, and it's even better in PvE, so I really like it. And then of course we've gone for Resolving Vigor. This is a huge health over time to keep you alive if you need it, and it gives you minor resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance. Then for the back bar ultimate, I've gone with the Tide King's Gaze. This casts down a beam that does a huge amount of damage every 0.5 seconds, and this one actually follows the target, so if they move away they can get hit by it still. So yeah, this absolutely shreds through people. If we put all our AoE down, use this, and then hit them with a beam when we have 3 crux active, it's does a huge amount of damage in such a short amount of time. So yeah, I love the Tide King's Gaze. One thing I will say is, because Endless Archive gets harder as you go along, survivability does get slightly more important. So sometimes I will change out Razor Caltrops for Crux Weaver armor just to get the major resolve. If you need it, it's there. I kind of like it for the later arcs in Endless Archive. So for the earlier ones, I'll run this just for the extra damage, and then if I need some survivability, I'll wear that. But yeah, it's up to you. If you feel like you don't need it, then you don't need it. It's fair enough. Okay, here we are. Welcome to my home. As you can tell, I live the life of luxury. I'm just going to show you the rotation and what I usually do when I come into fights. So I usually just start on the back bar, and I'll get all those buffs done, and then move to the front bar and then do some damage. So the first thing I'll do is I will light attack and then hit our first skill, Recuperative Treatise, so we can get some more damage, and then I will light attack and then hit this one, and then the Caltrops, and then sometimes I will just stick a shield on if I feel like I need it. Of course, we want a light attack between every skill for the light weaving. So we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we switch to the front bar. And then I usually do a light attack trap, light attack rune blades, light attack flail, and I usually do 2 flails to get the 3 crux active. And then we hit them with the beam. And it's literally just as simple as that. You know, just if you just keep this rotation up, you'll do a huge amount of damage. Keep all your buffs up. If you need to heal, you do the back bar ultimate as well, and then 2 beams at once, and yeah, you can absolutely shred through any target. Make sure you cast your shield if you need some health, but because you've got Pale Order, your health will be flying up anyway. So yeah, really strong, really survivable. Last thing I need to go through are the champ points. Of course, green tree is all the normal stuff. I've just got Steed's Blessing, and you know, you don't really need anything for the Endless Archive. For the blue tree, I've gone for Ironclad, reducing your damage taken by 6%. Master at Arms, increase your damage done with direct damage attacks by 6%. Fighting Finesse, crit damage and critical healing done by 8%. You really want this one because we're doing a lot of crits. Biting Aura, increase your damage done with area of effect attacks, which again we have a lot of as well. And yeah, on the red tree we've got a little bit of extra health. Probably don't need this, but you know, I just like being on the safe side with a bit more survivability. And then we have Juggernaut. While under the effects of crowd control immunity, you take 1% less damage, so when you get stunned, 5% less damage. Pain's Refuge, reduce your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects on you. You can be getting hit by a lot of stuff. And Celerity, increasing your movement speed. So there we have it. There's the Endless Archive. Yeah, it's super fun to play, absolutely shred through people. You can do it duo or solo. I've been enjoying this a lot solo, to be honest. And yeah, hope you enjoy. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build. Be sure to leave a comment and let me know how far through the archive you get. And of course, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more videos like this one. I usually focus on PvP in the Elder Scrolls Online, but if you want to see more videos like this one, dedicated to PvE and the Endless Archive, let me know down in the comments. Thank you everybody so much for watching, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.